The Zone.
From CBC News, Canada Now.
In St. John's, I'm Carl Wells with the Here and Now segment of Canada Now. Tonight, drunk driving increase. The message isn't getting through, so how do you keep drinking drivers off the roads? And in the swim, the annual New Year's Polar Dip brings out the hale and hardy.
Annie and Hanamansing.
All the smoker clients.
Winnipeg businesses get around a new bylaw by shutting out kids.
Good evening and Happy New Year, everybody. We're glad to be back. Also tonight, Industry Minister Beaton Tulk is thinking about a switch to federal politics, and we'll look at how a young man is helping to fight a deadly disease because of his love for his grandfather. But first, our top story. The holiday season usually brings out the best in people, but the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary didn't exactly see it that way this year. Crime of all sorts was up over the holidays, everything from armed robberies to domestic disputes. One of the biggest increases was in drinking and driving. Susan Pedler reports.
It's the same scene in virtually every municipality in the country. Police take the busiest social season of the year and use it to find some of Canada's most elusive criminals, people who drink and drive. The RNC traffic unit stopped several thousand cars this season, and they didn't like what they found.
Well, it's always disturbing when we get more than one impaired driver, and we've had approximately 40 for the month of December, which is higher than normal by about 20%. And on top of that, we had another 55, 58, 24-hour suspensions as well.
There were a lot of first-time offenders, and Garland says many of those arrested blew far over the legal alcohol limit.
For these people, the soft sell, the education end of things, it doesn't seem to be working. The advertising doesn't seem to be working. The peer pressure doesn't seem to be working. So now it's going to be left to the courts to deal with them.
But Miranda Maddox and Rebecca Frizzell say they'll continue with their work. They head up the Students Against Drinking and Driving, or SAD, chapter in their local school in Mobile. They've put up signs in the community, held mock accidents to show the devastation. They've even held non-alcohol dances.
Well, at SAD-sponsored school dances, we have the non-alcoholic bar. And we serve mocktails and Shirley Temples and cute little umbrellas.
We try to make them as fun as possible, like,
yeah,
so that you could have fun while dancing.
And not drinking and driving.
Yeah. They're discouraged by the RNC's findings.
Like, our goal is we're trying to increase awareness, and we're hoping to provide campaigns that say, please don't drink and drive. And we've targeted children, and we hope that the children tell their parents not to drink and drive. And the fact that there is more people drinking and driving, it's a bit disheartening.
But SAD will press on, and so will the police. They'll continue looking for impaired drivers because they know they're still out there. Susan Pedler, CBC News, St. John's.
Police also say Christmas was the season for thefts. They say video toys were popular targets this year. They believe items stolen from some houses ended up under trees in other homes on Christmas morning. And they say there was an unusual theft in the St. John's area on Christmas Eve. Someone stole 7 apartment-sized dryers from a wholesale business. There are thousands of nervous people in this province, nervous because the government is reassessing their home care hours. That assessment could mean fewer hours of home care for some people who can't look after themselves. And for some, a reduction in hours could mean the difference between living an independent life and being institutionalized. Glenn Deere reports.
Joey Power is proof that there is life after an institution. After living in the Hoyles home for 25 years, he's had his own apartment for 10.
I'm not going back. I'm not going back.
I'm not going back. I'm not going back.
Joey is able to live on his own because he gets home care.
Don't want them getting full of butter. Be hard to get that out.
Besides helping out in the kitchen, the attendant does housework, takes Joey to the washroom, gets him in and out of bed, and stays during the night, just in case something goes wrong.
I'm
higher, I would be on my own.
And then
I can't go to the door. I can't call 911.
Joey likes things just the way they are, but they may not stay just the way they are. His home care hours and the hours of thousands of others are being reassessed.
The challenge for all of us really in the healthcare system is to live within existing resources.
Jerry Thompson looks after the home support programs in St. John's. She can't talk about individual cases, but putting people back in institutions is not on the agenda.
For everybody who is in need of some services to support them, to maintain a good quality of life in the community and prevent hospitalization and prevent institutionalization. That's the aim of these programs by any definition. The problem is that we have increasing numbers of requests for these services, and we're just looking at a way to equalize things and balance it out so that people who most need the services are in fact getting the services.
Still, Joey waits to hear if his hours will be cut. With ballooning budgets, someone's hours are definitely going to be cut. Glenn Deere, CBC News, St. John's.
There's a big mystery at Castor's River on the Northern Peninsula. It started over the holidays. Witnesses say they saw some sort of small aircraft land in the ocean just offshore. There was a search, but no wreckage was found, and no one's been reported missing. Doug Greer has that story.
It happened just off the hills at Castor River around 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon.
We saw the object just going out like that, about a mile in that direction.
Pius and Derek Tatchell saw it all.
Looked like one of them hang gliders because it was big, like wide up top, and then it come down, and to my description, it more looked like a person hanging like this, and then it was big, and then it come down, and it went down narrow like that, and then it looked like it was a fair-sized piece of rope or something hanging down from that again.
Then they got really worried.
And they just keep the same altitude, didn't start going down, not straight, but it went down in a slant direction. Just went on down and settled into the water, no splash.
They went straight to a phone and called the police. The police called in the Coast Guard.
So they did much for the search. And the guys on the search and rescue said that they searched the area, he said, but he couldn't pick up nothing. And but he never came back the next day, so I think they should have done a more extensive search anyway, the area, right?
A pilot who flies in this area told CBC News that what the men saw could have been either a hang glider or a powered ultralight aircraft. Both of these can get away and fly in their own. But he says the fact that the Tatchells saw it slow down just before it hit the water suggests that there could have been somebody on board. The Coast Guard says it did a thorough search but found nothing. They say it could have been anything from a downed weather balloon to sun glinting off birds. And they say nobody's been reported missing. But the Tatchells know what they saw.
But I think they was based on that there was no one reported missing. But I mean, that's not a good enough excuse. I think they should have went a little farther and even put a diver there and had a look around, right?
Doug Greer, CBC News on the Northern Peninsula.
Premier Grimes is beginning the new year by taking a shot at Brian Tobin. Grimes is criticizing Tobin for failing to convince Ottawa to change the way it calculates equalization payments. That's the money Ottawa gives the country's 7 poorest provinces to help them out. But when their economies improve, Ottawa reduces the payments. When Tobin jumped back into federal politics last year, he promised to fight to have the system changed. He has said he's pushing the issue behind the scenes, but Grimes says there's nothing to show for Tobin's efforts. The province's industry minister is laying the groundwork to make the switch to federal politics. Beaton Tulk says he'd be interested in George Baker's seat when it becomes vacant, and Tulk admits he's been making contact with Liberals in the Gander-Grand Falls area.
But I think it's fair to say that if you look, there are problems that are somewhat beyond our control that we need to work on at the federal level, and it would be a new challenge for for me to try to work on those programs. I've had some experience with doing that, such as the post-TAGS program, and working with a team of people that we already have in Ottawa, and it will be a new challenge. And given the fact that there are rumors, and I think this is what we're talking about a rumor here, that Mr. Baker may be going to the Senate. Some people have been asking me if I would be interested in running in that district federally. And the truth is, I've got a great deal of interest. I can't say to you today that I've 100% made up my mind, but I have a great deal of interest in running in that district and becoming involved in federal politics.
Another high-profile Liberal has also expressed interest in Baker's seat. John Efford is said to be eyeing it as a way of getting back into politics. George Baker's fate has been the subject of speculation since he stepped aside to make room for Brian Tobin in the federal cabinet. The most popular theory is he'll be rewarded for that move with an appointment to the Senate. A young fellow from Maddox Cove was honored recently in a special ceremony. Matthew Williams is one of the top fundraisers for multiple sclerosis in the country. While most 11-year-old boys strive to score goals in hockey, Matthew's goal is to help find a cure for MS, a cure that would help someone very close to him. Jane Adey has the story.
Every day in Maddox Cove, you can be sure you'll see this pair. 11-year-old Matthew Williams and his grandfather heading out to catch rabbits. They're more than family, they're buddies. Grandfather John used to spend a lot of time in the woods. Then, 5 years ago, he was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Rabbit snaring these days is a little harder. Matthew helps him through the tricky parts of the woods, but his greatest help is in raising awareness of MS. Okay. He sends out dozens of letters to businesses looking for money. His pitch? It's simple.
I just tell them that my pop has MS and that we're trying to find a cure for MS.
It's a family effort. His mom is president of the MS Society. But Matthew is leading the Williams team in the fight against the disease. Last month, he received an award.
Matthew raised $6,500. Total for Team Williams was about $6,800. That gave him top fundraiser in Newfoundland, Labrador, and runner-up for Atlantic Canada this year only by a couple of $100.
And Matthew is persistent. His letters have been showing up on Chess Penny's desk for the past few years. The well-known businessman is impressed by his effort.
Obviously, he's done something that's well worth taking note of, and he's set an example for anybody to follow, young or old. So I'm very proud I'm very proud to say that I kind of knew him at that moment, the moment he wrote me that letter.
But there's no one who appreciates Matthew's efforts more than his grandfather.
I'm very proud of him for doing it right.
No luck with the rabbit snares on this day, and so far, no luck with a cure for multiple sclerosis. But Matthew vows to keep on raising more and more money every year. A cure would help more than 1,000 Newfoundlanders. A cure would mean more time in the woods with his grandfather. Jane Adey, CBC News, Maddox Cove.
Most of us think you'd have to be crazy to do it, but every year there are a few people who just have to try. Swimming in January in the North Atlantic. It's called the Polar Bear Dip, and yesterday about 80 people gathered to test the waters off Foxtrap. Here's what it looked like. Not for me. Those pictures were taken by Ocean Quest, which helped organize the Polar Bear Dip. Now, here's Ian with a look at what's coming up later on Canada Now.
I'm Ian Hannah-Mansing in Vancouver. Coming up later on Canada Now. As an international peacekeeping force settles into Afghanistan, we'll look at what role, if any, our military is going to play. Plus a look ahead at 2002. We ask viewers what they're hoping for in this new year.
Next, Life Journeys looks at a family's turmoil when a father's declining health leads him to the Waterford Hospital.
CBC Radio 2, the guest conductor's first choice.
One of the world's greatest rock stars in a free television event. The finale of a triumphant world tour. A sold-out 10-show run at Madison Square Garden. Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, live in New York City, Monday at 8 on CBC. Brought to you in part by Toyota.
Craftsmanship, attention to detail, and a desire for the finer things. It is the British way. We honor our traditions. We believe that there is an art to pouring lager, to turning down a bed, and hosting a reception. It's just the way we are. And you're going to love where we are. The Governor Inn, Governor Pub and Eatery, and Governor Function Rooms. Old English tradition in the heart of St. John's. Very nice indeed.
We are all unique. We have our own strengths and weaknesses, talents and ideas. That's why change is such a lonely experience. Supposedly, we know what's best for ourselves, but it's not like our lives came with blueprints. Facing change? At New World Fitness, we extend our hand to people in transition every day, and we believe that your decision to change is your greatest moment of strength. New World Fitness. Embrace change.
The difference between a house and a home is the difference you make. And the people at your locally owned Timber Mart are right behind you with the products and advice you need to get the job done right. Super Christmas specials on now from King Canada Tools. A 12-volt cordless drill with batteries, just $99. 10-inch compound miter saw, including carbide blade, just $199. And this 4.5-inch angle grinder for $39. King Canada Tools are available at Murley Timber Mart, Cabot Timber Mart, and Western Bay Timber Mart.
Here's some gift suggestions for those who insist on drinking and driving this holiday season. They're sure to take your breath away. How about a snappy new bracelet? Maybe a flashy new portrait for the family. Limited edition prints. We'll even throw in a new record. Of course, it all comes with a cost, and it's available throughout Newfoundland and Labrador. Operators are standing by. Make the smart choice. Don't drink and drive.
The Waterford Hospital, once known as the Mental. If you're of the old school, you might think there's nothing more shameful than to have a relative in there. Well, here's the story of a son who thought just that, until his father, who's a long-time resident at the Waterford, taught him different.
Hi, how are you, Mr. Hudson? How are you today, Gerald?
Great.
In for your regular visit?
No.
Huh? Do you want your Pepsi?
No.
You don't want it?
I want it now.
Oh, okay.
Walter Hudson. He's 90 years old. He's been a patient at the Waterford Hospital since his two sons brought him in, reluctantly, 15 years ago for deep depression.
It was rough. We had been taking him to psychiatric treatment at the Grace, and it just wasn't working. It just didn't seem to suit his position. And when my brother and I sat down and talked about it, my mother was quite upset. And in essence, it's a hard thing to do.
We're going down to the chapel soon.
I was thinking about telling me.
There were no signs of depression in his earlier years. He owned and operated a grocery store on Logie Bay Road on the outskirts of St. John's. When Irving Oil came to Newfoundland, he added a gas pump.
All the people in the area knew him. They all dealt with him. So if you wanted gas, you would pull up and signal, and he had a control switch inside. He'd turn the pump on, you'd put in the gas you wanted, and then you'd come in and pay or charge, whatever the case may be. So I always told him he had the first self-serve Irving station in Newfoundland.
There you go. There's your cross.
It was after he retired that Hudson fell into a deepening depression, and there was nothing his family could do to stop it.
Nothing to do, I guess. We always said, why don't you travel? You know, you've worked all your life, you and Mom, travel. And no, he's the typical old type Newfoundlander, you know, you don't spend your money, you save it. As we parted at the Waterford and I came my way and my brother went the other, before I got home I was pretty upset and I cried. Because to see, you know, a healthy man who had a good life and who worked hard, and it is your father, and to put him in a place like that. And I suppose back 20 years ago or 17 years or whatever, the Waterford Hospital didn't have the same connotation as it does now. People thought of it as a place where you were crazy and they put you and you never came out again.
Well, that's the way his sons saw it back then. It took the old man some time to convince them that he saw things quite differently.
And he just fitted right in. He became quite relaxed, really at ease. The only thing that really upset him a couple of times was when we sat with the nurses in there and the management people and said, well, we'd like to put him into a home. We're going to put Dad into a home. And as soon as he found out about it, his depression would set right in again. I think like a ploy to say, leave me alone.
One of Hudson's favourite things to do at the Waterford is to come down for the services in the hospital's chapel. On the day of this service, a few weeks ago, the chapel celebrated its 20th anniversary. That in itself may not have had much meaning for Hudson, but the music always does, because that's what he comes down for, faithfully, twice a week, to sing and be happy.
The last 7 or 8 years that he's there and we know that he's there, I'm happy now and I feel comfortable with him in there now. We know that he's well taken care of and he's happy, and at 90 years of age, what more can you ask for?
Walter Hudson spent the rest of his days at the Waterford. He died there peacefully before Christmas.
And I'll be back with the weather information for you after this.
Great save. There's more fun and more value for Canadians aboard a spectacular Carnival floating resort. A tropical holiday with so much included. For great savings, call LeGros Travel to take advantage of our special Carnival cruise prices for Canadians. Carnival, it's Canada's kind of fun. Sticks, gloves, and formwear, not required.
bigger, bolder. The reinvented Camry, the best-selling car in North America, just got better. Beautiful. For a test drive, go to camry.toyota.ca.
We're all unique. We have our own strengths and weaknesses, talents and ideas. That's why change is such a lonely experience. Supposedly, we know what's best for ourselves, but it's not like our lives came with blueprints. Facing change? At New World Fitness, we extend our hand to people in transition every day, and we believe that your decision to change is your greatest moment of strength. New World Fitness. Embrace change.
No time to work out? Fed up with all those exercise videos that become repetitive? Now, here's the easiest way to get your body in the shape you want it. Introducing the amazing Abtronic fitness system. Abtronic is very safe and simple to use. You control the 10 intensity levels, then amazingly watches your ab muscles contract as if you're doing a sit-up. That's right, your muscles are moving, but you are not. Abtronic will work you out while watching television, shopping, working, walking, any place you want, any time you want. 10 minutes on the Abtronic is the equivalent of 600 sit-ups. That's why we guarantee you'll lose 2 inches off your midsection in less than a month or your money back. You can also target your arms, chest, buns, or thighs. And because there are no wires or pads, you can even wear Abtronic under your clothes and no one will know it's there but you.
Call 1-800-917-7593. Abtronic is just 4 easy payments of $29.95 plus shipping and handling. Or send check or money order to the address on your screen. Don't delay. Call 1-800-917-7593 now.
Tonight's weather report is brought to you by your local Newfoundland Toyota dealer, home of the redesigned 2002 Toyota Camry.
Generally cloudy skies through most of Newfoundland and Labrador today. Some flurries as well for Labrador and some flurries for the island, but mainly in onshore areas of Newfoundland where you had those westerly winds off the water. Along the west coast, Corner Brook, for example, had flurries today. About -5 in Corner Brook, -4 here in St. John's, and around -9 for Happy Valley Goose Bay. Well, here's the systems map. We'll show you what's happening. We've got a low-pressure system off Labrador, northeast of Labrador, which you don't see indicated on this map, but there's a northwesterly flow associated with that, which actually gave the cloud and flurry activity to Newfoundland today. For Labrador, we've got an area of high pressure building in right now, and it looks like that's going to clear you out tonight and give you mainly sunny skies tomorrow. The westerly flow continuing for the island, so much the same kind of weather for Newfoundland tomorrow, cloud and some flurries onshore. So in your forecast for the island for tonight, for the northern peninsula and west coast, it's going to be cloudy with some onshore flurries around -10 in Corner Brook. For central Newfoundland and the east coast, cloudy periods tonight around -10 in Gander. For the Avalon and Burin Peninsula, cloudy with occasional flurries, -6 for St. John's, -4 in Burin, and for the remainder of the south coast, cloudy periods tonight. For the island tomorrow, for the northern peninsula and west coast, again cloudy with those onshore flurries, -4 in St. Anthony and Corner Brook. For central Newfoundland and the east coast, it's going to be sunny or cloudy with sunny periods, we'll say. -6 in Gander. For the Avalon and Burin Peninsula, cloudy with a few flurries. -2 for St. John's and in Burin as well. And some flurries along the remainder of the south coast. For Labrador tonight, because of that ridge of high pressure, there's going to be clearing happening tonight and in the overnight throughout all of Labrador. Look for temperatures around -14 for L'Anse Eau Claire, -20 for Happy Valley Goose Bay, and dipping down to about -25 for Labrador City Wabush. For Labrador tomorrow, as I say, lots of sunshine, a mix of sunshine and cloud for all of Labrador tomorrow. Around -10 in L'Anse Eau Claire, warming up to around -12 in Happy Valley Goose Bay, and -18 for Lab City Wabush. In your 3-day outlook for the island. For Friday, periods of snow, a high of -2. Saturday, it's going to be cloudy with flurries and around -4. Sunday, cloudy and -4. So it looks like we're still staying away from the heavy snow. For Labrador, Friday sunny and -14, Saturday sunny -14, Sunday cloudy -12. And that's the weather story. That's it for the Here and Now portion of Canada Now. Here with the rest of the day's news is Ian Hannah-Mansing in Vancouver.